part two. Part two of the seven habits of highly unsuccessful people, right? We're going to finish out on things that you should not do if you want to be successful, but everybody who's unsuccessful always does, right? And it never changes. So going on to number 4, the fourth thing that an unsuccessful person does all the time is they focus on the prize and not the process. Okay, now what that means is they're so carried away about hitting the goal, so carried away about being the final product, that they never actually think about the process that gets them there. They just do the same thing over and over again, trying to expect the same result. They never say, okay, in order for me to reach X, I have to do Y and Z. No, all they worry about is, okay, X is where it's at. What does X do? That's what I'm doing. But you got to start somewhere, right? You got to put together a process and put together a plan that's going to get you there. Okay? So if your goal is to run a marathon, you're not going to run 26 miles tomorrow. No, you're going to start with 3 miles and then 5 miles and then 7 miles, right? The same thing if you're working out in the gym. Same thing if you're trying to burn fat and gain muscle. You're not going to be able to bench 300 tomorrow, but that's what they think about. So they try to get as hardcore as they can right off the bat, and they burn out and they don't ever succeed. You got to rely on the process. The process is what takes you from A to Z, and you got to start at A. You don't skip steps. You don't try to jump ahead. You follow the process until it gets you there, right? So you got to make sure that, yeah, while you want to keep the eye on the prize and know what you're going for, you got to stick with that process all the time and never stray or deviate from it. Now, the fifth thing that people do that makes them unsuccessful, and this is kind of really a weird one, but it's the absolute truth, is that unsuccessful people look for motivation. They don't understand that determination is what takes it there, okay? They want that external, this is going to keep me motivated in order to do it. Successful people understand that there's going to be days when you're not motivated to do it. You just have to rely on being determined to accomplish the goal, to keep yourself on that track, right? If you're trying to burn fat, some unsuccessful people want to be motivated to not eat like garbage. They want to be motivated to go to the gym. A successful person wakes up and it's like, oh, I'm not motivated. They do it anyway, right? Motivation is good and it gets you off at the start. But as you go through, the process gets less and less exciting. It's just what you do. It's your part of your 9 to 5. It's your day in and day out. And there's going to be days that you don't want to do it and you're not motivated to do it, but you still have to do it. And that determination is what makes you successful. You got to be determined. Don't worry about motivation. Right? That's what kicks you off of the couch. But after that, it's the determination of accomplishing your goals that's going to keep you every day working the way that you need to. So don't be motivated, be determined. It's that much more successful. Okay? The sixth one is unsuccessful people never adjust. They stay stagnant. They want their way to be the right way. It's more important for them to be right than them to be good, for them to be right than them to accomplish. And you see this all the time in all walks of life. You see it in the gym. You see it at work. You see it in other people's personal lives. They, if their way is the right way, then they can't be held accountable for not accomplishing their goals, right? They don't, if their way is the way it's supposed to work, then it's everybody else's fault, or it's the environment's fault, or it's anybody but their fault to why they accomplish. And that kind of goes back to, never accepting the failures yourself. It's just kind of an endless cycle of unsuccessful habits that you're always stagnant. Successful people understand that they need to make minor adjustments and constantly fine-tuning their processes to make it better. And that adjustment is what keeps going. They don't stay stagnant. They look at the process and say, okay, this is what I need to change in order to be successful. And they always make those adjustments all the time. They understand that they're not perfect. They understand their way is not perfect. So they always have to fine tune. They're always trying to get better and make those little changes in their processes in order to be successful. And that's one of the biggest parts about it. Now, this is the seventh last thing, and there's a million of them, but I think these are the 7 biggest that you see pretty much in everybody who's unsuccessful with their life. But this is the absolute biggest habit that unsuccessful people have that successful people don't. Unsuccessful people want to be somebody else. It seems stupid, it seems silly, it seems cheesy, but it's the absolute deal. In one of the videos that I did, I asked 2 questions. And the first one was, if you could be anybody in the world, who would you be? Well, the second question is, what does it take for that person to be you? A successful person will do whatever it takes for them to be the successful. They want to be the inspiration for other people. They want to be as the best that they can be. They're not trying to be somebody else. They're not trying to copy the next person. What they're trying to do is do what works to make them the great person. And unsuccessful people, they don't like who they are, so they want to be somebody else. They try everything they can to emulate. And not just emulate, because emulation of people successful, doing what they do to be successful is one thing. But to have such a lack of self-respect or a lack of self-acceptance to say, I don't want to be me, I'm going to be just like this person. Because that's what success is. It's not. There's a fine-tuned line between wanting to do what successful people do and wanting to be a different successful person. Be your own person. Be you. Don't try to look like somebody else. Try to look like the best you. Don't try to be this type of manager. Be the best manager that you can be. And all of a sudden you'll find out that it's other unsuccessful people that want to be just like you. So those are my 7 habits of highly unsuccessful people. So in order to be successful, just do the exact opposite and you're on a really, really great road of being successful, right? All right, so Pet Gorilla out. I love you. Guys, don't do these steps. Do the opposite, be successful, and you are awesome. Deuces.